Hello, we meet again. You are now in the secondary area called social practice theory. Social practice theory is to learn in a social structure. With social practice, we analyze what people do, achieve, and receive when they are together. When we talk of social practice, the issue in question is co-participation, its structures, and its consequences. It is a place of an encounter and the engagement of intellectuality that is provoked with the discussion and interaction according to Wenger. It has an evolutionary factor. As people engage in a community relating ideas, objects, and artifacts, they experience a transformation in identity as a byproduct of their relationship and agreement on issues. For instance, children development with the full participation in adult social worlds called socialization. It's an example of social practice theory. It is an example of historical legitimate peripheral participation which initiates the learning process in a fashioning manner. Theoretically and socially speaking, to have knowledge and learning, there must be activities. Deductively, people, activity, and the world are engaged to induce learning, thus, social practice theory. Social practice is the primary generator of knowledge, and learning is one of its characteristics. For learning to be actuated and knowledge conceived, participation has to be legitimated, meaning there must be full immersion in the community of practice. In instances, there may be peripheral involvement, which is a reference to the world at large. This implies that a community practitioner, a community practitioner may be engaged in more than one community. Then the participation in each community, it's understood to be peripheral, interchanging among communities. With such a variance in a community of practice, learning is limited. To benefit from the resources of a community of practice, full participation is required as the whole person emerges with his, her thought, speech, and knowing in his or her surroundings. Whether you speak of a school or apprenticeship, what the world contains is human production in a socially and culturally structured system. It is true that most learning theories focus on the cognition of the individual, working on the environment for acquisition and assimilation. In other words, with those theories, it is the cognitive ability of the human being reflecting and objecting on matter. The focus is on the person. It is not so in the case of social learning theory. In social learning theory, the person and the world compile into a whole. It is a reciprocal relationship, whereas the person affects the world and the world affects the person. The person and the world form an inseparable unit acting on each other. In this context, the word world is synonymous to people, objects, activities, tasks, function, and understandings that do not exist in isolation. The practitioner faces the challenge of using and understanding artifacts in a complex relationship of conflict and synergy, whereas learning is by doing. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye. See you again in the park. Enjoy your journey. Have fun. Have fun.